isn't going very well. Not a good start to cutting the lawn. Ferris ended up in the creek. The rear end slid out from behind me when I was mowing near the creek. I knew it was wet, but I didn't think it would go in the creek this way. Let's see if we can get it out. I did shut off the engine, I believe, before the motor got near the creek. The air filter's underwater. Well, I hope it doesn't have water in it. I don't think it was running when it hit the water. Amazing. My garage door opener stayed in this little cubby here. I don't think I lost anything out of that. Let's open up the air cleaner and see how the air cleaner looks. So I don't think I can turn it over without starting it. Let's check the dipstick. I don't think there's water in the oil. Okay, let's see how far I can get with it. Not a good day. So I wanted to show you Ken's bolt-on hooks. You use the center shackle. This machine weighs about 1,700 pounds, which is a lot for a zero-turn mower. The shackle held, the strap held, and the tractor backed it out. So that's all good. Let's keep going. I hope there's no damage. So the goal was, with that guard on, I could not get the air intake off because it was hitting it. I want to pull that off, and then I want to pull the plugs, cycle, spin the engine to see if there's any water in it. But first I want to get at the fuel injection system. So it's day 2 of the Ferris Creek ride, and I'm a little more organized today, not much. Since I have the mower jacked up, I wanted to take a look underneath to see what type of shape the blade's in, and deck if I bent any blades when it went in the creek. I think the blades are straight, but I gotta clean the mud off that blade, and these are fairly new blades, so I think I'm in pretty good shape. I'm gonna go over there with my hand and pull the mud off that blade. We're in pretty good shape down here. Let's get this machine back in service. So I had to take this cover, rear engine cover, off that was covering up the intake manifold for the engine to remove the air intake for the fuel injection system, and also to wipe. I jacked up the machine so the water would run from the front of the fuel injection system to the back, and then I got it out, absorbed it with paper towels. Now I have to reassemble this engine cover plate. I watched videos on this engine before I purchased the Ferris mower. There's some outstanding videos on this machine. The people who make it, one of the plants I think is in Texas, and really impressed at the engineering that went into this machine, this engine. Briggs & Stratton really did a nice job, and I believe Briggs & Stratton bought Ferris. Okay, so that cover's on. I want to put the air intake tube or manifold back on, and I'm going to take it outside. I'm not going to put this back assembly on, I don't think, until I've changed the oil. And there's no water in the oil that I can see. It's not look like used engine oil. I think they say to change the engine oil at 500 miles or hours. I think I have 60 hours on this. I did not replace the inner air filter. It was pretty dry. Brand new air filter, long overdue. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna let this warm up. I'm gonna let it warm up, then bring it in and change the oil. She's running great. She's running great. So I'm gonna pull the dipstick. Oh, look at that. Do you see it? Good thing we're changing that oil. That oil, the water must have been in the crankcase. Remember, this has a reservoir a 5-quart reservoir here of oil, and that actually cools the oil and also is enough oil in case of emergencies. So I'm going to drain the oil. It was milky. Got to see that on camera. That worked out. Here is the drain valve to drain the oil. And then there's a cap underneath the engine. You can probably see it, and I can't. You see the cap there? Finger tight, thankfully. Okay, so I got the cap out. Position the drain pan underneath it. That looks about right. Open the valve. Kind of silly, they have, look at this throttle cable goes back around this valve. Oh, water. Let you look at it. There's water. Definitely milky. Water got in there. Man, it's nice to have 6 quarts of oil. 5 quarts. Wow. Thanks, Patrick. So the engine oil is drained out. The cap's back on the bottom. The valve is shut. It says to put 5 quarts of oil into this. And it says to put the oil in, then remove the filter. I'm going to remove the filter first. And I don't like this milky white oil. You can see it around the filter, so I'm going to wipe that up and remove it. Now, I skipped ahead and removed the oil filter because it was in such bad shape. So I pulled it out. They say to leave the old oil filter in while you put the new oil in. I'm not doing that because it was just so dirty and milky. And I jacked the machine up. The level's pretty good. I jacked the machine up. It's in the back of this reservoir, so I jacked it up because there was still old milky oil in the bottom of the reservoir. And that probably took at least a cup of oil out of it. New filter versus old filter. Time for an oil change, right? That's nice and tight in there. That's a good twist. So it goes in like this. See these tabs? As you turn it, it puts pressure on those tabs. Nice tight fit. Let's put this cap back on. That's on. We'll check the oil one more time. And it's at the top. You can't see it. It's at the top of the full mark. Let's crank her over. Sounds really good. She sounds pretty good, doesn't she? Actually, it sounds better than it did before it went into the creek. I was going to wash it up for you at the end of this video because I've been neglecting it and not washing it. I assure you it's been greased, and I do check to make sure the oil is in good shape. It has 89 hours on it. I've had it a little over a year. I don't think a year and a half, maybe a year and a quarter. Fantastic machine. Shout out to young people, and I know many of you, almost all of you know this if you're watching my channel. Young people, collect tools. Collect tools. This mishap was made so much easier because I had a 56-year collection of tools, maybe really 49. I didn't start collecting them when I was born, 48. So collect tools, collect tools. They're valuable. if you're maintaining your house, equipment, want to get into off-road riding, you really need tools to do that. So she actually sounds great, doesn't she? I wonder if that was the, as much as anything, the air filter. Fuel injection systems are outstanding. Head intake manifold had water in it. Crankcase had water in it. Sopped up the water, tipped it up like this to get things to drain out, and she looked good. So I'm gonna mow this once or twice, and then I'm gonna put new oil in it, and just to make sure I got all the water out of it. But she's running great. Brothers, thank you for coming back to the channel. Please subscribe. That's how we keep score. And I hope all of you are healthy and safe. Thank you and God bless. Hope to see you on the trail. These tires throw mud all over it. 1,800 pounds. If that would have come down on top of me in the creek, I wouldn't have been in good shape.